Okay, I would like to go over how I like to set up a file in Adobe Illustrator right from the beginning. So I'm going to select new file. A couple things I want to look at. The default measurement is points. I want to change that to inches because I would like to be able to do measurements using ruler guides in the software, and we are using inches for our drafting. The orientation is portrait, that's fine. Everything else is looking good. It's an 8.5 by 11 artboard. That one looks good too. Everything else is fine. CMYK color is good. And I'm going to hit create. That will give me a artboard ready to work on. Now, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to be able to see the menu on the top of the Zoom screen for some reason because it cuts it off, but you will be able to see the pull downs. One thing I want to check and make sure is that my workspace under Window is Essentials Classic. A lot of the time, the default is Essentials, which is fine, but it's not the one I like to work in. So I first of all like to change from Essentials to Essentials Classic. And you can see there's more on both sides of my screen happening with the Classic. And for us, it is definitely a better option. Okay. When I'm talking about tools, I'm talking about this bar on the left-hand side. And when I'm talking about palettes, I'm talking about the right-hand side. And you have things like your layers and various cool functions happening on the right-hand side in your palettes. If you don't see what you are looking for, like I at the moment do not have my layers panel open, you can pull down on the window menu and find various things that you can open up in the palettes on the right-hand side, because I definitely want to use my layers palette over here. You can see that showed up behind these folks. There we go, layer one. So the nice thing about layers is you can go down to the lower right-hand corner down there, right at the bottom, and create a new layer. You can work and draw on one layer, and then you can lock it. You can see there's the little eyeball. Beside the eyeball allows you to lock whatever work is on that particular layer, which is very handy when you are doing drafting and you need parts of the drawing to stay in place. So for the moment, I'm actually going to stay on layer one and set up my drawing tools. So you'll see I've got here on the left-hand side various tools. All the tools that have little triangles at the lower right-hand corner, they indicate that there are things hiding underneath. And in case of the pen tool, I've got add anchor, delete anchor, and basically convert anchor between a curve and an angle. That used to be called the convert tool, which actually made more sense because anchor point tool is a little vague. What it does is when you are drawing and you want to convert a curve to an angle or back and forth, that is your tool that you want to use. Okay. So down at the bottom, we have stroke and fill. Fill is the inside of your shape and stroke is the outside. Okay. The other aspect I like to set up on my artboards is rulers, ruler guides. Now, if we go to Command R, will give me my ruler guides. So Command R on the Mac, I believe that is Control R on a PC. And you can see how my guides show up onto my artboard. And if you want to reset your 0, point, right? Because right now I'm at 0, 0 at the top left-hand corner. So if I measure this way, 2, 4, 6, 8, it's 8.5 inches. If I go down, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, down to 11, 8.5 by 11, right? I can always reset that point 0, 0 by going up to the top left-hand corner and pulling, say I'm pulling that crosshair, anywhere I leave that will become a new 0, 0 point, right? And see how now I measure out 0, 2, 4 in that direction, 0, 2, 4 in that direction. So this can be very handy when we are doing our drafting from the center and we want to draft out, as opposed to always drafting from the left-hand side. I'm actually going to leave my 0, 0 where it is. But again, if I wanted to reset it to the top left-hand corner, I could always just click and drag and then leave it there. And you can see how my 0 and my 0 are now up on the top left. But again, I'm going to click and drag to the center of my page. Okay. Nice thing about ruler guides is you can click on the ruler and see how I've got that little dotted line happening. I can now measure. I'm at the moment looking at the left-hand side. I'm measuring down 2 inches. And now I'm going to the left-hand side. I'm going to pull across. And then I'm going to measure to 0, right? So I've got my 0 and I have the guide to 2. All right. Now, I can, at the moment, my guides are set to lock in place. So if I drag them, they stay. If I want to change that, I right click on the mouse and then I would do unlock guides. And then I could take my black arrow and I could again move my guides anywhere I needed to. Okay. So that, and then if I'm happy with it. So at this point, I'm actually going to delete the guide because I'm just going to keep my center line guide in place. And I think that is the basics of setting up your art space, your drawing space in Illustrator for drafting.